I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist in research, and I came to child psychiatry in an indirect fashion. My husband's a physician, and we went through training at the same time, and it just so happened the overlap of our careers directed me to go into a fellowship. The other big influence on my trajectory was my father, who was a neuropharmacologist, William R. Martin, who's made some major discoveries in opiate receptors. He had a huge influence on me questioning, wondering about things, and wanting to engage in research. E-cigarettes are scary for a couple of reasons. One is, if you ask a teenager, do you smoke, they say no. But then later you find out they're vaping, which means they're using e-cigarettes. The other thing that's really worrisome about teenagers is they don't consider it unhealthy. So they see it as safe, and we know from the past and other drugs of abuse, if a teenager thinks it's safe, they are more likely to use it. E-cigarettes may be the first way an adolescent is exposed to nicotine, and we know that early and even intermittent exposure to nicotine in adolescence is a harbinger of lifelong dependence. So what we're doing is working on developing a better screen for e-cigarettes. The other thing we believe is somewhat innovative is that we're getting urines for a breakdown product of nicotine, which is called cotinine. The advantage of that is you may pick up adolescents who deny smoking when in fact you can then have biological confirmation they are smoking. The challenge always with adolescent psychiatry is that you have a lot of things you have to address. One is that child, most importantly, and what their issues are. It's not uncommon we see a child who's smoking, who's been abused in the past, who has attention deficit disorder, who may have an anxiety disorder. The other issues, they're in a family. And what can be a challenge is if parents smoke. And then you have to figure out ways to try to engage either the parent or the grandparent in thinking about stopping smoking. Then you face the school system and the community. I had an adolescent patient who was kicked off the football team because of drug-related issues. Well, I understand that, but on the other hand, could we have worked to a different solution? So there are multiple levels of complexity and challenges. Novelty is a wonderful thing, and I have fabulous colleagues. I've been very fortunate in having generous, thoughtful, very intelligent and gifted colleagues to exchange ideas with, problem solve. I think it is hard to imagine how you could see an adolescent who is using drugs and it's completely derailing them, either performance in school or with their family or with their friends, their safety as far as drinking and driving or having unprotected sex, exposing themselves to very traumatic events, and not be motivated to want to help that teenager in a unique and different way.